is what replaces the Gallardo, the best-selling Lamborghini ever. And it replaces it with a major leap forward in technology and demeanor. Let's drive the 2015 Lamborghini Huracan and check the tech. When Lamborghini set out to replace the Gallardo, they wielded a lot of new and improved technology. Adaptive electronic steering, magnetic fluid adaptive suspension, blessedly now a dual clutch instead of single clutch automated gearbox, an Audi Quattro-related all-wheel drive system, a dramatically new LCD instrument panel, and a body with clean, subtle aerodynamics, not obnoxious cutouts or powered rear wings. Now, as Lamborghinis go, I actually find this vehicle understated and elegant. Notice there isn't one of those audacious wings, powered or otherwise. Nothing. They just did it all with body shape. Speaking of that body, the whole structure of this car is a composite of some carbon pieces, some aluminum pieces, a lot of sandwiching and blending of the two. It's not a true carbon tub with aluminum subframe. Instead, it's a glued and riveted sandwich of the two materials, especially at the cowl and down the spine. Lamborghini calls this a carbon hybrid. Blessedly conventional doors. Do you really need this? And then you've got the glass cover on the engine, which is beautiful and clean, but no, that's an option. Normally you'd have a busier set of louvers there. That's the best $7,000 you'll ever spend. Now inside the Huracan, things are decidedly more modern than the Gallardo it replaced. Look at that instrument panel. It's a 12-inch side-to-side all LCD. Driven by an NVIDIA Tegra processor. You've also got another LCD over here that's a fixed set of engine gauges. Now back to the main one. Interesting behavior here. You can have sort of a split screen where you have instrumentation on the left and you've got your infotainment interface on the right. Hold a button here on the wheel and then you go into a full screen of your Audi-inspired MMI. You'll recognize and have seen that before. Hold the button again and now you go to a full instrumentation layout. Hold another button, and that can go between full tach and full speedo. There's no other interface quite like this. It's also nice when you go in reverse, you get your reverse camera right there in front of you. In fact, everything's in front of you. This is an interesting vision of moving things away from the glance-away center head stack to right in front of the driver. And of course, related to all that stuff in the dash is a pretty familiar, kind of last-generation Audi MMI interface. Now onto the drive controls. This vehicle is not like any other in that respect either. Here on the wheel, everything has gone kind of motorcycle-like. Notice there are no stalks around the column. Only a couple of properly mounted, stalk-based shift paddles. Left is downshift, right is upshift. Instead, things that used to be on stalks are here. Here's my high beam switch. Here is my left-right turn signal switch. Wipers are over here. And then down here on the bottom, here's where my drive personality controls are. Sport, Strada, Corsa. We'll talk more about those on the road. Back here on the backbone, you've got a locked down start-stop button. That's just some great Hollywood theater there. And of course, what would a supercar be without cool toggles to play with? And here's a rack of those for things like windows, hazards, and most importantly on this guy, the optional nose lifter. Under glass is the heart of the beast, the 5.2-liter V10, naturally aspirated, no turbos, no supercharger. They do it the old-fashioned way. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. That's what happens when you've got 602 horse. Notably, though, only 413 pound-feet of torque. This guy's a rever, not a puller. Now, while this engine breathes conventionally, it drinks via two technologies, both port and direct injection. Something a number of automakers are doing more of lately to optimize fuel delivery across the entire RPM and load range. 7-speed dual-clutch automated manual gearbox is very different than that Gallardo we had, which had a single-clutch automated manual and was on the bulky side. This promises to be much more refined. Oh, by the way, if you care, the MPG is 1420 on this guy. That's actually not bad. The days of single-digit MPG supercars are just about over. Almost immediately, I notice how this car's got a really nice transmission. Because it's a dual clutch, we don't have all that jerkiness that the single clutch automated manuals are known for. Instead, the shifts are super smooth, plenty quick. Of course, it depends if you're in Strada, Sport, or Corsa. When you move those drive modes on the wheel, you affect a lot of things. You're going to change your throttle mapping so you get more power sooner. You change your steering ratio if you have the adaptive steering option. You're going to change the way the adaptive suspension operates. You're also going to change the way the stability control is going to dial in. You're going to change the shift points and how aggressive and quick those happen. It really transforms a lot of things about the car. Now this car's also got an interesting set of sensors. The accelerometers and the gyros are three-dimensional. So you've got X, Y, and Z, which Lamborghini says is really helping them get some real dimension and real-world flavor into how they modify all of those drive systems. You know my favorite compliment for any car? It feels light. It feels light. And when you feel light, you feel fast. Well, one of the things you're also hearing about this car is the exhaust that changes when you go into Sport or Corsa. They open up some baffles, and you get this nice back crackle. Beautiful sounding thing. Now, there are some Lamborghini quirks that make this car a bit of a pain in the ass to live with. I don't quite fit. I'm leaned way back and my knees are all bunched up. The other thing is, when you get a windshield this rakish and cheeky, you also end up with some great big A-pillars that really get in the way of tackling corners. Okay, let's get you all budgeted to buy your Huracan. $241,000 is your entry point with destination. Now we got to add a handful of things to get it CNET style. Adaptive steering is $2,400, the adaptive suspension's $3,400. Navigation is an awfully steep $3,200. Rear cam, you're going to need it. That includes backup sensors, nearly $4,000. The nose lifter will save you twice its price the first time you find a curb. That's $6,900. And the glass engine lid, I love it, $7,000. All in, we're at about $268, but who's counting? This is a very livable, approachable car that is also extreme when you want it to be, but not when you don't. This is a very interesting story, and I see it bubbling up all over the supercar market, and perhaps nowhere expressed better than right here. More cars driven CNET style. Standing by now at cnetoncars.com. Click on the road.